For 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has been this absolute engineering marvel. It's a puzzle that even today still kind of messes with our heads. I mean, we've walked on the moon, we've built skyscrapers that literally pierce the clouds, but this ancient wonder, it still holds secrets that baffle the world's best engineers. So let's explore what it would actually take to build it today.
It's a simple question, right? But the answer is startlingly complex. You'd think with all our technology, sure, no problem. But the reality of recreating this ancient megastructure is so much more daunting, and frankly, so much more expensive than you could possibly imagine.
Okay, to really wrap your head around the scale here, let's just put it in perspective. The Great Pyramid is made of 6 million tons of stone. That is 12 times the weight of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building on the entire planet. We are talking about a man-made mountain as tall as a 40-story building and covering an area the size of 10 football fields. It's just immense. So, the big spoiler. Could we actually do it? The surprising answer is probably no. And you know the craziest part? The biggest hurdle isn't a lack of cranes or cutting-edge tools. It's a lack of purpose. The ancient Egyptians built these incredible structures as tombs for their pharaohs, who they saw as god kings. They had this powerful, unifying religious motivation. Well, we just don't have that. But hey, for the sake of this explainer, let's pretend we've found a reason. Let's build this thing. All right, now we get to the fun part, our hypothetical project. We've got our motivation, so what's step one? You might think it's quarrying stone, but nope. First, you have to build a foundation strong enough to hold a literal mountain. And this phase alone, it's going to take 3 years. You know, the ancient Egyptians actually learned the importance of a good foundation the hard way. The famous Bent Pyramid, it started to subside because it was built on unstable ground. To avoid that same mistake, we'd need extensive geological scans, seismic tests, and then we'd have to laser level the entire 13-acre site with millimeter precision. Why? Because a single millimeter of error at the base would create a nearly 15-centimeter lean at the top. A huge deal. So, after buying the land, you'd have to pour this massive, reinforced concrete foundation. And we're not talking about just a simple slab. We are talking about 500,000 tons of concrete. I mean, some entire modern mega projects don't even use that much material. And for us, it's just the starting point. So let's do a quick tally. We are 3 years into this project, we're already over $500 million in the hole, and we haven't even thought about touching the first stone block yet. Not one. All right, with the site finally prepped, we move on to the next colossal challenge, quarrying and cutting 2.3 million stone blocks, most of which, by the way, are the size of an SUV. This chart really gives you a sense of the mind-boggling industrial scale we need here. A single modern stone-cutting factory working at full capacity would need 63 years to produce all the blocks. So to hit our much more reasonable 5-year target for this phase, we would need 250 industrial-grade diamond wire saws running all at the same time, right there at the quarry. Now, the cost of the raw materials, it's just staggering. The stone alone, both the limestone and the granite for the inner chambers, would cost around $1 billion. To put that in context, the entire Burj Khalifa was built for $1.5 billion. And the electricity to run those 250 saws for 5 years, about $155 million, which, get this, is equivalent to the entire country of Italy's electricity consumption for 1 full day. Time to update our running total. We've just added over $1 billion to the bill, bringing us to $1.7 billion. The cost has now tripled, and we still haven't moved a single block to the construction site. Okay, so the blocks are all cut. Now we have to get them from the quarry in Aswan to our site in Giza, a journey of 900 kilometers. This would be, without a doubt, the largest transport operation in human history. First off, just let that number sink in. 6 million tons. How do you even begin to move that much weight across an entire country? Well, let's break it down. If we use standard heavy-duty trucks that can carry about 25 tons each, we would need nearly 250,000 individual truckloads to deliver all that stone. 240,000 trips. Imagine it. A constant, unbroken convoy of 500 trucks, driving day and night for 5 straight years. Every 10 minutes, another truck would arrive at the construction site. The logistical coordination would be an absolute nightmare. And the price tag for this 5-year-long convoy? A cool $200 million. That brings our new total to just over $1.9 billion. And incredibly, that doesn't even include things like road taxes. So, after all that work, the materials are finally on site. The challenge now shifts from pure logistics to pure, hardcore engineering. We are now entering the most complex and, honestly, the most dangerous phase of the entire project, the actual construction. This right here is the ultimate engineering challenge. The granite blocks that make up the roof of the King's Chamber weigh up to 80 tons apiece. The problem is, no single crane on Earth has both the height to reach the top of the pyramid and the strength to lift 80 tons at that height. Physics just gets in the way. The solution would require a complex, custom-built network of the world's largest tower cranes, all choreographed in a series of tandem lifts. They would literally have to build their own foundations on the pyramid's lower levels, get disassembled, and then raised higher as the pyramid itself grew. It's an unprecedented and incredibly risky operation. Just renting, operating, and maintaining this specialized network of cranes for 5 years would cost at least $300 million. And then there's the human element. A project of this scale would require a crew of at least 3,000 people. And we're not talking about just general laborers. We're talking elite crane operators, engineers, surveyors, and safety coordinators, all working in a super high-risk environment. Their salaries, insurance, and provisions over 5 years would add another $400 million to the bill. We are almost there. After 8 years of planning and construction, our pyramid stands tall, looking a lot like it does today. But to truly replicate the original, there's one final dazzling step. See, the Great Pyramid wasn't originally the sandy brown color we see now. It was encased in 115,000 blocks of highly polished, brilliant white limestone from a place called Tura. This casing made the entire structure smooth and flat, causing it to just gleam in the sun and shine like a beacon in the moonlight. Adding this incredible finishing touch would cost another $250 million. And here it is. The final bill for our modern Great Pyramid comes to just under $3 billion. That's the same price tag as modern marvels like SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, or one of Qatar's largest natural gas processing plants. Which brings us right back to our original question. Can it be done? Well, technically yes, but practically and financially, absolutely not. In our modern world, what government or corporation could possibly justify spending $3 billion on a project with zero financial return, no economic output? It's just unthinkable.
And maybe that's the real lesson here. As the famous Egyptologist Zahi Hawass said, Egypt didn't build the pyramids built Egypt. The true achievement wasn't just the final structure, but the organization, the technology, and the unified society that had to be forged to make it possible. It was a project that built a nation. Which leaves us with a pretty big question. What could we build if we had a purpose that grand today?